flowers on your stone. We both know that I was wrong. We both know I'm not like that anymore. Us are not far behind. We both know that I was wrong. We both know I'm not like that anymore.
Somebody might not catch it. Wheelchair cards again, an old shoe. Oh, yeah. Somebody said that's an old microwave. There's occasionally a spirit who is in this room, but quiet today, I guess. Here's something you don't see too often too these days. It's about
What do you think?
1986. All right, now we'll move on to the fun guy. He's my buddy, and hopefully he'll talk to me today. Be careful with the Jerry chair in the box on the floor. Hi, George.
And the lights went out. Oh, sorry, I had to start recording.
Were they nice to you last night, George? This is George. This is George's room. You're welcome in. As you can see, George is a huge Steelers fan.
Oh,
Are you with me today, buddy? We got some young ladies here today. I smell it again. Jennifer,
I knew it.
can you come in here? Do you smell
I smell what?
tobacco?
I have gum. I always have gum.
I'm coming.
Okay. George was a maintenance man, and he used to work down here. Some recent information, we're not sure. Hi, George. How you doing, buddy? Hi. You can talk to me today. You know I'm your friend. I'll consider you my buddy. I know you're a good guy. A lot of people back in the day wanted to give George a bad rep. I figured that out. He's a good guy. You can talk about the Steelers, and he's here. Hi, hon. How you doing? How you doing? Were they good to you last night? Did you have a good visit from the people?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to step in your shop. Sorry.
I'm gonna take it that's a so-so. There were a lot of them, huh?
I was gonna say, you know what would be cool is if you came back here with Tyler for like overnight.
The one
You
thing
can ask
George
her.
will not like is if you talk about the Cleveland Browns.
What is that, a spirit?
Many men have tried to argue with George
Oh, you're like,
about the Cleveland Browns. George will, EVP, Spirit Box, he will tell you no, you're no good. Steel curtain, I'm never sure who is here from out of town or wherever. I don't delve too much into your personal information, but the steel curtain from the mid-1970s, you've probably heard of Terry Bradshaw, Glenn Swan, Jack Lambert, Mean Joe Green, Rocky Blyer. I'm trying to remember them. Those are George's top players. George has argued with people that Terry Bradshaw is the best and only ever has been quarterback ever. We have some information, again, I'm just getting lost in the tour here, that George quite possibly was a Vietnam veteran, and that he passed away at around the age of 45 to 49. So he did die a relatively young man. But I have a great deal of respect for George. He likes to pat women's behinds, and he will smack men on the back of their head. Probably because you're talking about the Browns.
Wearing a Cleveland hat.
Uh-oh, George. Is this man making you mad for wearing a Cleveland hat? You good with him, brother?
Oh, yeah.
He just don't want to talk to you.
I'm okay with that.
He's okay with that, George.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
any
wearing a
questions
Cleveland
about
hat,
George? That's
too.
pretty much. Down here you will get, no, not so much tonight because we're all enjoying it. Cold spots, shadow figures. When we watch the security cameras, this hallway is flooded with what we call orbs. George, you staying here? You coming down the hall? You gonna be a gentleman and walk me down? Okay. This hallway down here where you see my daughter standing, underneath the exit sign, is perfectly safe to use as an exit if you're ever here during an overnight hunt or investigation. It's frowned upon that you would do that because that is the one stairwell. It goes from the basement all the way up to the 3rd floor. If you have various groups down here that are doing hunts, so you have somebody down here, one on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors, you're going to tamper with their evidence or contaminate their evidence is something we use as a phrase. So they're not going to know for sure if it was somebody making noise down here or if it was somebody making noise in that stairwell. If you stay out of the stairwell, it's fine. It does block the sounds. Has anyone ever seen a paranormal group who has to use a night vision camera? Are you familiar with night vision cameras? Okay. I'm going to demonstrate real quick, it doesn't take long, why paranormal investigators do require a night vision camera by going into this room.
Oh my God.
Oh, the bowling ball's back.
What?
I'm going to ask you to douse your lights, all of them, phones, just for a brief period. Can you completely cover your lights?
I don't have to do this one. Oh, my screen's on, okay. There we go.
And the gentleman over there behind you. George, you put the flashlight. Okay, if you could at least hold it up to your chest and block the light. This is what you see and the reason when you're doing paranormal investigation. The reasoning behind having a night vision camera or some way of seeing in the dark. When they tell you they're using that, this is actually what they are
Definitely have to bring that night vision camera.
And in the event that you should watch the Hill View Manor destination here, most of the filming was done in this hallway. The one main character, Dakota, was in the hallway. We did pick up an EVP where George told him to get out twice.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Interesting thing to watch that.
Yeah.
Any questions about the basement?
You have a morgue or a temporary morgue here, or?
The morgue is also located on the third floor.
Okay.
We have an involving room on the first floor, which a lot of people's minds, because why would you have an involving room on one floor and a morgue on the third floor? But it will be explained to you.
I'll get those. I'll get those.
How do the overnight tours work?
From 7 to 4.
How much is that? I'll check for it. Me and him would be interested in doing that, right? Would you, Chris?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'll go with you and Tyler if you want, you know. We can all do it. Because I feel some things I've never felt before.
Mm-hmm. It's heavy down there.
Very.
Very heavy down there.
We're going to go down this hallway. Now, this is the original part of the building. This was the nurse's station. And this is Mary Virginia's room.
Back onto the first floor.
There's the station.
Mary Virginia was here when she was orphaned. She was born in 1917. She worked here all her life. And she is one of the residents who is still here. We did have a cheaper
What was this, like a
Nurse-
nursing cabinet?
Nursing station. This is the original part of the building.
Oh, okay. Lost me.
was very childlike. Probably because she spent all of her years, she never developed into a mature woman. Because she was born on Christmas Eve, it was her favorite holiday. She always believed in Santa Claus, even till the day she died. And all the necklaces and toys and books and things, those were brought here by investigators. They know Mary Virginia loved those things, so over the years they have brought her all kinds of gifts.
Right.
We did find a detailed piece of information on Mary Virginia. When she would have to get ready for bed, and they would be putting her pajamas on her. Her baby doll had to have its pajamas on too before she would get in bed. But they said she was a very sweet woman. Also being childlike, she hated green vegetables. She would let the staff know in no uncertain terms that she wanted the green vegetables off of her tray, and they brought her some. When we originally came up here, this second bed wasn't in the room. A psychic a few years ago said that, and through EVP, they contacted a spirit named Susanna, and she wanted to know where her bed was, so that she and Mary Virginia were roommates when she was here. So staff brought a bed and put it up and gave her a little nightstand and a few other little things that are over there. And they were hoping that Anna would be happy now. Last year, a psychic came through and asked why that bed was in here. This was Mary Virginia's room, and she got the message that they didn't get along in life. So it led people to start thinking, are they getting along in the afterlife, being in here together? So, any questions about Mary Virginia? No. Did everybody get all, I should be asking, did everybody get all the pictures and things they needed in this one? Okay.
When we do our separate tour, we can take pictures then, right? Okay, because I'm just doing my video now and I'm gonna take pictures.
Right, I it just occurred to me, this gentleman, oh, you'll be going by yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
You can take pictures all the way around. You know, we're gonna walk
I
through
want to get some pictures,
completely
don't you?
other end of the building.
But I figure I'll get the video done first.
Yeah.
To, what was the embalming room?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She left her camera at 10. Did you bring the digital camera with you? Huh? She has pictures of the cemetery. By the way, you are allowed to go back and look at the cemetery.
Okay.
And the graves are grave markers back there. The only thing is I strongly caution you, there's some very deep ruts back there.
Okay.
So when you're walking, and we're trying to get a lawn care company to come up and cut the grass. The owner came up the other day for 9 hours, and she still didn't get it done.
Right.
These are the restrooms if you need them. Anybody need to stop?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. I don't know where we'll go. There it is again.
Mm-hmm.
You smell it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was rude. I pointed a finger.
You're fine. I'm not that professional.
I should be though.
Yeah, you're fine.
I used to all over it.
It's this hallway.
Oh. What's going on? You want to let me take a picture? There you go. Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see the orbs?
Yeah, I was trying to look to see if there's anything.
I
Yeah.
just took 2 pictures. There's orbs.
I don't see anything blowing around either.
No, there's nothing blowing around. Yeah, there was 2 orbs on the
There's 2
screen.
light anomalies.
Yep.
One went up, one went down.
Yep. From that direction.
I don't see any dust or.
No, nothing's kicked up.
Eli, is that you? Are you up near the ceiling? Huh? Okay. That was wild.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh. The food smell's coming out here now. Okay. Let me get these people on their tour. They pay good money for this.
Definitely worth it.
Oh, he didn't get this cut.
Smell. Nothing blowing in to kick up any dust.
Yeah.
And it's wet.
If you look, the cemetery's behind that garage, those garages.
Oh,
So the
okay.
grass is pretty high, I would caution you if you go back there. Be
Okay.
very careful. I don't know what's back there. There's been a lot of.
Go check it out.
What's that? That's the graveyard back there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's the
She
cemetery.
said behind that thing there,
The garage.
the garage.
Grass,
The
like,
embalming room.
Ooh, what was this room?
This is the embalming room?
What was that? A momming room?
Yes. That has been brought in, that's not an original. Some of the things brought in here, are staged. We don't try and deceive anybody by that, thinking that they are original. Like the rocking chair is an original. The cylinders down there on the floor marked 83, I think, in 96.
Aren't those like grave markers?
Those are grave markers. They have been brought in and put in this, placed in this room as actual, yeah, they're not original though. Over in that corner, you'll see a drain in the floor.
Hmm.
That is where back in the day when it was the Port Farm and also the home for the aged, until we became more alert to what things should be done. Bodily fluids were drained right into that floor and into the public sewage system. In the 1930s was a heavy-duty year for tuberculosis, and it was up here rather spread rather wild. So you can imagine if that's how they handled bodies back in the day, that's probably why it spread.
Was this used as some other room?
No,
Oh, okay.
not that I'm aware of.
An odd wallpaper. Like that's
Oh, it's not the same, that's some kiddings for an embalming room.
There could have been some administrative offices or visiting rooms, but I'm not sure what it was recently. We keep trying to get a hold of people who worked here that might remember. The only one I know in direct contact with, she just can't remember. She's had some severe traumas in her life, and she tries, but she just can't remember what everything was up here. Different people have shed light on what some of the rooms were. We have a lot of people who offer to I'm a smoker, I admit it. Maybe that's what I smell, it's not me. Okay.
Something different.
Different people offer, but they don't follow through. And we're trying to find people who do know more extensive history of the building. Those are the great, she pulled them up on her phone. They're small, but those are the great sites that you would see in the back. Throughout the years, that at least 400 people have been counted for the passed away on the building premises. These posters you see, some of them are a little bit inaccurate because we're finding out more accurate information. And I will point that out to you as we go through the building. These have been here for quite a few years, these particular posters. But because it was Native American ground, and when we get up on the 7th floor, I'll show you where the golf course is over this way. That was the Newcastle Cemetery for the poor. The poor people were buried over there. I'll go into that in more detail when we're up there. Any questions about the embalming room? I think the reason why the embalming room is down here was because of where we're going next.
Read that, Chris.
This piece, we do know where administrative offices in here. Where you became the nursing home. This room here was used for speech therapy. This was used for physical therapy. And this room was used for occupational therapy. So the residents did have some on-site, available assistance with things that they may have needed. And this is a ramp that goes down to the chapel.
Is this a tub?
Might have been a tub.
And what was this? Speech therapy?
Oh, they're leaving us. Wow.
Am I missing somebody?
Yeah. He likes to wander. He likes to take a lot of pictures.
Oh, okay. This is the chapel. The chapel was a non-denominational worship area. Back in the days of the pork farm, it was also used for co-workers to be able to share in the wake of their friends. Where the white table was, they used to have a casket there, and people could come and pay their last respects before their co-workers were buried. If the whoever wasn't a coroner, but we'll call him funeral director, would bring the embalmed and probably embalmed and prep bodies down here.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. That's why the embalming room's down here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a door where the exit sign is, and it is an extra wide door that would accommodate a casket going out back. They would take them out, take them on the back, and bury them in the cemetery. Later, this was used for, again, non-denominational services. Girl Scouts would come and put on little skits in this room to entertain the people. Local church choirs maybe come and perform for entertainment. This chapel has been used more recently, and I mean very recently, for graduation parties.
Mm.
There have been weddings held here. There was a 39th wedding anniversary held here a year ago, October, maybe even more. So we do kind of rent the building out for different occasions as well. So if you know anybody who has a real strong taste for the macabre, and they want to do something different and with their future in-laws,
Sure, why not? Let's go.
My paranormal family group, we had done 3 complete investigations overnight. We did do a flashlight session, and I love the chapel for this. We did do a flashlight session where that's if you take a mag light that you twist the light on, not press a button. We put 3 of them up there barely on, so that it wouldn't take a whole lot for the spirit to turn them on if they wanted to, or if they were here. And every year we had the same reaction. So after 3 times, we couldn't debunk it as something fake.
So it happened all those 3 times.
We played Johnny Cash, and the flashlight started lighting up like crazy. About 10-15 seconds into the flashlight session, it literally, the spirit was flashing the flashlights to the rhythm of the music, like they were clapping their hand to the rhythm, like you and I would today. Because it happened 3 times, 3 different years. They weren't consecutive years. We couldn't debunk it. One of the staff here at Hill View Manor did do a voice box session in here, And he did get 2 different names. There's a spirit, Oscar or Terry, that are in the chapel at all times. This chair over here, somebody took a picture of, and took a picture of the chapel. And in this chair, it looks like they see a man sitting there, perhaps in prayer. People who investigate in this room have started to sing hymns, Amazing Grace, and they've heard EVPs finishing the song. Any questions about the chapel? Okay, upstairs we go. We're gonna rise with the heat.
Good, Joe.
Maybe. And this is supposed to stay upstairs. Who brought it down? Carrie. What are we gonna do with the boss? If you look at the handrailings of the building, you'll see some very ornate, old, decorative
That's very cool.
time frame.
Yeah.
And the broken glass in the door, that's a signature of the vandals that were here. They tried to get out once they were cut, and it didn't work.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Oh. Wow.
I didn't need to have you. Jeffrey, they shouldn't have brought you candy. This is Jeffrey's room. Jeffrey was orphaned here with his brother. His brother was 12. Somebody thinks his name might have been Richard, but that was by an EVP, so we're not sure if that's true or not. But Richard and, so we say, Jeffrey was 9, Richard was 12. Jeffrey will argue with some people that he was only 8, so we're not sure on that either now. Jeffrey loves light-up toys. Jeffrey loves baseball. Babe Ruth was his buddy. Jeffrey doesn't communicate well with me, and that's fine. Other people have gotten, the fire truck there is a battery operated. They've gotten Jeffrey to light it up with their batteries in it. Jeffrey likes to run around the building, I hear, which would be typical of any child.
Right.
They can get away with it. But the staff took him on. His brother was adopted and put to work on the farm. So Jeffrey was here by himself with his staff. Spirits-wise, residents would see a little boy running around the building in vintage clothing, and they would report it to the nurse. We actually found records where the nurses charted that the residents saw a little boy. And within a few days to weeks out, that resident would pass. Some people like to spread the rumor, which is not true. Anybody who would see Jeffrey today would die. I don't know where they got that story, but that was then. All these toys that have been brought here, of course, aren't vintage from Babe Ruth's time era. These are just also brought by investigators. This is a brand new bicycle that was purchased by one of our investigators so that Jeffrey could ride around the building when he wants to. Any questions about Jeffrey?
Was he living around the time of Babe Ruth?
Yes.
That's all.
Mhm.
I like Babe Ruth.
But again, people bring him all kinds of toys. He likes light up toys though, because now he knows, has the opportunity to live with her, perhaps.
That's cool.
Yeah, baseball cards.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey's a spoiled child.
But yes.
Wake up. This is my girl Mary Ayala. Hi, Mary. How are you doing today? I told you I was gonna clean your room up.
Yeah, there's like,
I can change my battery.
they're all, all the kids are in there over there.
Yeah.
They old baseball cards and stuff. And
I'll have to look it up.
that's pretty cool.
Can you see that from there? This is Mary Christina Ayala's room. She's one of the more recent, by recent I mean 1984, admits to Hill View Manor. Mary was born blind. I'm not sure, but she did have artificial eyes. Someone did say that she possibly was born without eyes, but that's not been confirmed. She suffered severely from OCD. Her room was put directly across from the bathroom because Mary would have to wash her hands 15 times a day. She was always washing her hands. She was always rocking obsessively. Also in her rocking chair, they did put carpeting on the rocker parts to try and quiet it down. She used to disturb the other residents on the floor with her rocking. Mary loved to play bingo. People brought her bingo cards, money to buy more cards should she want to. Hand sanitizer for her OCD. They left her hands soaked in a towel to dry her hands. Mary's one of the spirits who doesn't like it if you take her lamb off and don't put her lamb back on her rocking chair. She has let people know that she wants it back on her chair. And being that she was obsessive compulsive disorder, probably very true.
Yeah.
Her one niece did visit last year, I think it was in the fall, and she confirmed that her Aunt Tina was a very feisty Italian woman. She spared no words. We do have a poem that I only have my daughter look up and have it be recited in the event that people wouldn't be offended, but it can be an offensive thing. One of Mary's favorite tricks? She would take her glass eyes out and leave them on her bed and ask the nurses to come change her bed linens. So when they came in to change her bed linens, they would see glass eyes staring up at them.
Oh gosh, that's creepy.
So that tells you how much of a character she was. I did have somebody who worked here back in the day, and he remembered Mary, and he said, yeah, she used to be a little stinker. Any questions about Mary?
Don't remove the lamb.
Mm-hmm. That's Mary's little lamb, and those other stuffed animals were brought in recently because the only thing that used to be there was her lamb.
Ah.
But I came in one Sunday morning after they had a hunt the night before, and the lamb was in the red chair, and that wasn't working for her.
She's like, no, there.
Right. Put my lamb back. Okay. Right. I miss the days when. Which one? I don't know if we've done girls or. Is anybody offended by language?
No.
This is a poem that Mary Ayala used to recite. This is the original one The monkey and the baboon sitting in the grass. The monkey sticks his finger up the baboon's ass. The baboon says, "Hey, what do you know? Take your finger out of my buttonhole." Mary's version. She would sing it, but she would sing. Can't do it, can I? She would sing that entire. It's actually a song, I guess. And she would change the second to the last line to "God bless your soul. Why don't you stick your finger up your own asshole?" So you can see she was a very, very feisty woman.
Yes, she was.
Now for someone who worked with her and then put her eyes back in.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So, some of these rooms on either side of the building, you'll see have 4 lights on the walls. Those were back in the day referred to as wards. They weren't hospital rooms. Well, they were hospital rooms, but if there were more than semi-private or private rooms, they were called wards. So when back in the day, they referred to Ward 212, it would have been the same thing as saying room 212. Somebody in there?
Yeah, John. He's adjusting his.
I had to put a new battery in, my bad.
That's okay.
Never had to change batteries.
Because of the drop ceilings on some of the renovations that the county did beforehand, you can't really see the antique light fixtures that are here, but you will see those on the foot of the
Alright,
roof.
we're good, 100%.
You can see the bumper.
Something I think's following me.
Oh, something's always been following me.
Sitting you got here?
Yep.
I feel like it's gonna follow me home tonight though.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to ask my tire-in-law to cleanse me later.
I said, "You love to agitate me, do you? You want me to come out there and send you flying or something like that." Honestly, I know it won't hear me, but it went.
The original nurse station.
I was To me, this is, down here is the best window to see the bunker. And also you can see the golf course from here.
What was it? There was a ward?
That was a word, that's it.
Really? Was there a national park?
It was a storage space for their artillery.
Okay. There's some history of having like a reserve here or something.
I think we just stayed there. In there.
I wonder if there's a night side here too, like
There is, I don't know, I don't live in Newcastle, so I don't know about this stuff. But there actually was a base,
The armory.
I know, on Cascade Street, that was the National Guard.
Yes.
Is it still there?
As far as I know.
Oh, okay, so we have a National Guard unit over here, I'm gonna say maybe 3 miles down the road.
okay.
And then there is another one, that's off 422, going west toward Jamestown.
There's a lot of like these sites, you know, where they have the missiles and stuff.
Well, it's weird, the ground on this side is like high.
Yeah. It was
Low.
cool. It was an old.
Different parts have been cut. We're trying to get someone to actually come up and cut it so much.
No,
like
I mean
land.
like it's a lot lower, the ground itself.
I can.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's higher up on this side.
Yeah.
That must be one hill.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Curious what the.
Yeah.
Where you see the golf flag there,
And it's a groundhog.
that
it's a
golf
groundhog.
course
Yeah.
is where the Newcastle Cemetery was.
That's a huge ground.
My brother-in-law shared with me the story that back in the day, hunters were allowed to come up here and hunt back in these woods. Their beagles or their hunting dogs would come out of the woods and they'd have human bones in their mouths. That's how the county was tipped off to what was going on over here. One of the reasons why the Snyders were relieving their duties, the county didn't know they were burying people's bodies 3 and 4 deep. And not the casket,
Oh.
or coffin.
Just throwing them in there.
So when the county found that out, they exhumed the bodies before the golf course could be built. Guess they didn't want poltergeist going on.
No.
And they gave them all proper burial. So
That's
the golf
nice.
course is secure as being not blasphemous, I don't know. Okay. You are welcome to come and bump it as well.
Oh, you can get in.
Be careful if you're putting it there. It looks like it's pretty secure. Doesn't look so bad.
Is there groundhog? Look at him. He's so cute. Look at him, John. There's a groundhog right there. Oh!
I know, I seen him.
He was like standing up. Oh, he's went back
he
in
went
his.
back down in.
Wow.
Women were allowed to get their hair done twice a month. Men should get one haircut per month. But before it was the beauty salon, turned into the beauty salon, this was the women's cafeteria. The women were not allowed to eat with the men, so this was their cafeteria converted into a beauty salon. The ratio was approximately average 9 to 1. So this area was big enough for 10 women to eat in a cafeteria setting. But they were absolutely forbidden to,
So when this was